out that as gas prices and rents climb, the effective wage for these essential jobs keeps shrinking. The result is a hidden fragility. When the commute gets too long or the paycheck too thin, workers leave. Restaurants cut hours, clubs reduce events, and medical offices struggle to fill positions. Service reductions are not theoretical. They are showing up in closed kitchens, early last calls, and longer waits for everything from a haircut to a home repair. The invisible workforce, stretched thinner each season, is quietly deciding how much longer it can keep making the drive. Inside the villages, the promise of easy access to healthcare is starting to collide with the reality of an aging population. UF Health Spanish Plains Hospital, the main medical center for the community, operates with 307 staffed beds. On paper, that sounds substantial for a city this size, but with a median age over 73 and the fastest growing group now well into their late 70s and 80s, the scale of medical need keeps rising. A hospital administrator describes daily life as a balancing act. We're routinely near full capacity, she says. Our emergency department has seen days when ambulances are held outside, waiting for beds to open up. Routine appointments with specialists, such as cardiology, orthopedics, and neurology, can stretch into months-long waits. Retirements among local doctors, especially in high-demand fields, outpace the arrival of new providers. Families report waiting hours in the ER, only to be transferred to clinics in Ocala or Leesburg when local beds are full. These are not just minor delays. For a community where so many residents live with chronic conditions, every bottleneck carries risk. The original design of the villages imagined a city for active adults. But as the population ages together, the medical system faces a level of synchronized demand rarely seen anywhere else. The question is no longer whether the hospital can handle today's needs, but how it will manage when the entire community grows older at once. Every evening, live music fills all 3 town squares, drawing crowds for dancing, for drinks, and for the sense that retirement here never slows down. The Villages offers hundreds of clubs, woodworking, genealogy, ballroom dance, and more, each promising a new circle of friends and a packed calendar. But for many, the constant buzz becomes a kind of pressure. New arrivals often throw themselves into every activity, swept up in the energy and the promise of endless options. One recent transplant described the first months as trying to keep up with a festival that never ends. Yet after the honeymoon, the pace can start to feel relentless. Clubs that once felt like a lifeline now require sign-ups weeks in advance. Pools and pickleball courts fill before breakfast, and dinner reservations at popular restaurants are snapped up days ahead. Even with more amenities than most cities, the sheer number of residents means competing for space has become routine. Some longtimers quietly admit to skipping events they once loved, worn out by the effort to stay social. For every promise of perpetual fun, there is a growing sense of fatigue, a realization that in a city built for motion, slowing down is not always an option. For some, the question is not about amenities or healthcare, it is about meaning. One adult daughter describes visiting her father and finding him restless after years of the same routines: golf, dinners, familiar faces, and a growing sense of distance from family. Longtime residents admit the energy that drew them here can fade, replaced by a quiet longing for purpose and connection. The distance from children and grandchildren weighs heavier with age. Over time, more decide to move closer to family, trading sunshine for proximity. Behind every home listing is often a personal turning point, a quiet calculation about what matters most as the years pass. In December 2023, Sumter County Commissioners approved another wave of development south of State Road 44. The plan includes thousands of homes, commercial centers, and new infrastructure. Each new phase is matched by expanded roads, water plants, and utility lines, all financed through bonds that future residents must repay. A commissioner put it plainly, the engine has a red line. The Villages depends on perpetual growth to fund its own expansion. But every new approval means more traffic, higher service demand, and deeper reliance on a shrinking pool of incoming buyers.